So we're on a roll this good day, so welcome back to this edition of the Native News Update and this roundup of news from Indian Country with your host right here, Paul DeMain, on this Wednesday, August 5th. These stories and others can also be found at our websites, IndianCountryNews.com or IndianCountryTV.com. Here are the news stories for this day, off the wires and other Native news sources. The Osage Nation has filed an appeal of a federal court decision that rejected the tribe's attempt to exempt members who live and work in Osage County from Oklahoma state income taxes. The tribe filed the appeal earlier this month, early last week, I guess, with the 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals seeking to overturn U.S. District Judge James Payne ruling on its long-running lawsuit against the Oklahoma Tax Commission. The judge wrote in January's decision that the state of Oklahoma has governed Osage County for more than a century, yet the tribe has not sought to reestablish their claimed reservation or to challenge the state's taxation until recently. Payne also wrote that granting the tribe's request would have significant practical consequences not only for income taxation but potentially for civil, criminal, and regulatory jurisdiction in Osage County. In a recently filed appeal, the tribe argued that Congress has never disestablished the nation's reservation, totaling about 1.5 million acres, and therefore the taxation of its members violates federal law. More than 150 years after signing a treaty ceding land but preserving their hunting and fishing rights, Columbia River tribes are locked in a legal dispute with this tiny port over whether these rights can change with the course of the river. The Port of Arlington, Oregon wants to build a barge pier near the confluence of the Columbia and the Willow Creek. Arlington officials say the pier intended to handle garbage barges is critical for Gilliam County's brittle economy. But area tribes argue the pier would interfere with their fishing at the site, violating terms of an 1855 treaty that guarantees their right to hunt and fish in usual and accustomed areas. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers initially approved a permit needed to build the pier, but last year revoked it after looking into the tribe's complaints and deciding the tribe might be right. The disagreement hinges on whether the permit should have been pulled and what constitutes a usual and accustomed tribal fishing site. The Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Reservation, backed by 3 other tribes in the region, contend the pier site is in the middle of a fishing ground protected by the treaty. When it comes to saving their native language, the Question people say they believe children are the future. Judith Prieta directs the Question Tribes Language Preservation Program. Prieta says her team targets young people because they learn quick. There are currently 93 preschool students learning Question words for colors, numbers, and animals, but the program is open to tribal members of all ages. The program has been in place for about 5 years, and the tribe currently boasts about 100 fluent speakers. Classes are voluntary and available at no charge to anyone who would like to learn. Prieta said the Question was her first language, passed down to her by her grandparents. She grew up speaking Question at home, but things changed when she began to attend school. She said she really regrets that her own children never learned to speak their native language. As members of an elite group of Navajo Marines approach their 90s, they know there's little time left to tell their story about how they and other tribes used their native language to confound the Japanese during World War II. Their vision for a venue to tell these stories, including the years in which they kept their role a secret, is closer to reality. Chevron Mining, Inc. recently donated 208 acres of land to the association for a museum and veterans center. Keith Little and his fellow Marines there around Flagstaff, Arizona, want to preserve the Code Talkers' legacy that is better known to the Navajos but not as well known to the rest of America. And with the recent passing of 4 Code Talkers within 5 weeks of each other, including one of the original 29 who helped develop the Unbreakable Code, there seems to be a greater sense of urgency. Chevron Mining President Fred Nelson signed over the land to the Code Talkers during a ceremony near the tribal capital of Window Rock last Friday. Some 95% of the workers at Chevron's McKinley mine are Navajo, and Nelson said donating the land just off the highway made perfect sense. An Oklahoma-based tribe bought the last remaining American Indian mound in St. Louis, Missouri for about $230,000. Osage Nation Principal Chief Jim Gray described the purchase last Friday as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The Gateway City was once home to more than 40 mounds and was known as Mound City before the St. Louis moniker stuck to the city. Urban development destroyed all of the mounds but Sugarloaf. The Osage didn't build a Sugarloaf, but the tribe believes its ancestors include a mound-building people who disappeared long before the arrival of Europeans in North America. That society built massive earthworks throughout the Midwest, the best-known examples being those at Cahokia Mounds State Historic Site in Collinsville, Illinois, just across the river. The tribe plans to demolish a 900 square foot house that sits on top of the mound, as well as two others at its base, and develop the property as an interpretive historical center. Northern Idaho Community College has teamed up with the Coeur d'Alene tribe to create an applied science degree in business leadership and help students further their careers. Coeur d'Alene Tribal Director of Education Chris Meyer said the program, which took nearly a year to develop, will launch this fall at North Idaho College near Boise. Courses will be offered in Coeur d'Alene, Plummer, and online. Meyer said the tribe wanted to make the degree as convenient as possible for its government and business employees to build on their education and careers. College officials say the degree program, which was developed with a federal Department of Education grant, will be open to all students. If you're interested in finding the News from Indian Country program and other venues, go to Facebook at NFIC Paul DeMain and become my friend, and it'll show up right in your own account. Or you can go to YouTube under the username Skabewis, SKABEWIS, and you can get it there. In fact, you can find it in all kinds of places. Google News from Indian Country, IndianCountryTV.com. It'll come up somewhere. And that is the latest edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank our underwriters for helping us with this broadcast and you for joining with us religiously. You have a great day.